Last time our guests departed and Georgia and I pressed on. We cleaned the generator sea strainer of debris, and we cleaned the bilges of dirt and debris to freshen them up. Conch Charters did a great job turning the boat around with new linens and cleaning.
She did a terrific job.
We took a slow walk to the Rite Way store for food. We took a taxi back to the boat and we stowed all our provisions. We woke up to fire on the shoreline, which is put out, but not before it causes damage. We perform a freshwater flush on the toilets to keep them smelling fresh. And we fill the water tanks. We rinse the outside of the boat using dock water, scrub off the grime, and treat the rust spots to remove them, completing the process with a freshwater rinse. Debris from the fire filled the bay, and it did not smell good. Our neighbor's charter came to an end, and they took a private water taxi back to St. Thomas. Georgia and I untied the lines and got underway for the north sound of Virgin Gorda, and anchored on the lee side of Prickley Pear Island. There is always water sports and yachts of all types here. We went ashore to the Bitter End Yacht Club and visited with Bacchus at the boat bar.
The last time we met was on Tortola. Yeah.
We had a nice visit with our friends Klaus and Teresa.
So good to see you guys.
And we headed back to the boat for dinner and relaxing under a setting sun. Many are leaving the North Sound to make their way for Anegada. We are staying put and we will go exploring. We took the dinghy to the north side of Prickley Pear Island. It is quite scenic, and there are a few boats anchored here. The engine is pretty noisy, so I thought I would shut down the engine and take some video to capture the sounds of the waves and birds and such. Great plan. It's a pretty beach.
It is a pretty beach. So cool.
Except I couldn't get the engine started again, and we were being pushed into the surf. So rather than risk getting caught in the surf, we started paddling away from the surf to an anchored boat. Once secure on the anchored boat, I could sort out the engine. We paddled for about 5 minutes, which felt like an hour, but we got to a boat. We managed to get the engine started and we were off again. I must say, it is always a relief when a technical matter is resolved and working. Our path back to the boat was rather random and we were just cruising around without any particular destination, just exploring the North Sound. We went by Sabre Rock and it looks so different from the north side that it is hardly recognizable. Workboats such as this one is what makes all these island experiences possible. Without them, there is no supply chain for building materials, fuel, food, and other supplies. We motored by the Bitter End Yacht Club on our way to Briars Creek. It was quiet and no one seemed to be around. There was a nicely maintained sloop at the dock, a good-looking vessel, and it appeared to be a 1978 Gulfstar 50. I wonder what her story is and what future plans are for sailing this sloop. Anyway, the water was crystal clear, and after looking around, we pressed on. The shoreline here used to be a forest of mangroves with a canopy. It was a cool place to hike through. Hurricane Irma took out much of the vegetation, and it seems like the mangroves are making a comeback. In the background stands the YCCS Clubhouse, less one marina, another casualty of Hurricane Irma. YCCS has not posted anything on Facebook since December 2017. Admiral Georgia is at the helm of the dinghy. For those of you who have piloted a boat with a tiller, it takes some getting used to, as moving the tiller to the right side makes the boat go left and vice versa. We made our way over to Leverick Bay, got gas for the dinghy, and we looked around. We are heading over to Moskito Island, which is owned by Richard Branson. You too can stay here for about $30,000 an evening, chef included. We didn't make landfall, we just looked at the island from the dinghy. It is time for some floatie action behind the boat. First, the floaties need to be inflated. I know, it's a hard chore, but someone has to do it, and it might as well be us. Maybe you'd like to join us. The noodles come from the $1.25 store and help provide something to hang on to so we don't float away. Just so you know, Georgia is seeing every sunrise for the first time when I share the videos with her, because she is sleeping in all the time. The original steps had a black and it turned into a tar. Every time I walk on the steps I'll have black marks all over the boat. So I installed these 3-in non-skids, but when the wood gets wet it doesn't stick real well until I can make some new steps so it doesn't look as bad with half the treads peeling up. So it looks better than it was, although it's not great. Our friend Mark is also sailing in the BVI and suggested that we meet at Cooper Island. So we pulled the hook and we are off. Mark and I both live on the west coast of the United States, and over the years we have randomly bumped into each other in the BVI. This visit is actually planned. Once we exit the North Sound, we raised the sails and had a slow and easy sail to Cooper Island. It is about 12 nautical miles to Cooper Island, and we averaged about 4 knots, and it took us almost 3 hours. And on a beautiful day like today, what's the hurry? On the North Sound of Virgin Gorda to Cooper Island, we don't have much wind. We've got 7.6 knots, and we're sailing at 3 knots, 3.2 knots. Finally got the sails trimmed, so we got a little boat speed on us. 5.7 knots and 9 knots of apparent wind. Pretty decent. So we're at Cooper Island today, and as you can see behind me here, there are a lot of boats. On the reservation system for Boaty Ball, there's reserve buoys and first come first serve. On the reservation system, all the reserve buoys are spoken for, and there are 20 thereabouts first come first serve balls which appear to be available, but there's boats on every one of them. According to the reservation system, none of them have been paid for. So we anchored. I guess this is part of the gymnastics in the BVI these days. Mark took his crew ashore at Cooper Island. He came by via dinghy, and we had a nice visit on Cabo. Thank you, Mark, for making the ride over to visit with us. It was good to see you again. I thought I would capture Georgia relaxing and enjoying the anchorage at Cooper Island from the forward cockpit. Little did I know that she was having some quality time with her phone. I will let her be. We were anchored at Cooper Island, and the wind and the current changed directions, and the anchor pulled out and reset itself, which is fine, but our swing angle was having us go over water that was 3 feet deep. So rather than trying to reset, we're going to go back to Conch, get a mooring ball, and spend the night there. Unfortunately, as you can see, sunset has happened and we're in the twilight. I've done quite a bit of boating at night, so it's not impossible. Alright, 7:13 and we're on the mooring ball at Conch Charters, and George and I did a great job in the dark. And there she is, the Admiral in her finest.
We did it.
We had a good night on the mooring ball, and it's a new day. There's lots to do in preparation to receive our guests. I took some polish to the stainless steel sink and to the countertop. It cleaned up pretty nice. The Driven Finish Restore is an amazing product. It takes very little effort to see amazing results. The product Nothing's Better is one of the few products that actually works in removing water spots. Also an amazing product. This was performed all by hand. No machinery assisted me today.
Harder side to come alongside. This is the slightly blind side. Distances that I can gauge, the stern is only about the piece I can see.
Ross is bringing Cabo to the dock. Conch always pilots the boats in and out of the marina. It is a nice service, and while I enjoy docking a vessel, I believe this gives Conch control and assurances that not only my boat, but the others at the dock are protected from owner and guest hiccups. George and I really appreciate Ross, as he has taken good care of us every time we arrive. Hey, Rowena. I jumped in the sand. Yeah, welcome aboard. Take a right. Hi, Linda.
Hey there.
You made it.
We did.
Hey, Bart.
You doing?
Good. We are off to dinner now. Come back next time as an entirely new adventure begins, cruising around the BVI with friends. We explore Norman Island, snorkel the caves, and do we find treasure? We have an amazing snorkeling experience at Cooper Island, and we make our way to the North Sound of Virgin Gorda. We appreciate it when you click the like button, please subscribe, and leave a comment or a question. Thanks for watching.